Episode 13 of the Clock Enders podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Reginald Dino. We have got Life of the Party as usual, and Everybody Hates Nick as usual. Very disappointing result 2 nights ago. I think we were all past the point of wanting to talk about it last night, so we decided to do a show tonight, get all our thoughts together on what we saw, and give you our reaction to that, like I said, disappointing result on Wednesday night. I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll start at the beginning. Your boy Tomiyasu. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not going to blame you for that. I'm not going to even blame him for that. It's just an unfortunate circumstance. Unfortunate events happened.
I'll say this about the giveaway for the first goal. That maybe doesn't happen if he gets a little bit more playing time coming into this game. You know what I mean? Like that's a nervous back pass. That's a guy who's kind of maybe
it's a loss of concentration. What are you talking about?
I think that the occasion, it's not loss of concentration, whatever you want to call it, but I think that comes with the situation. You know what I mean? I think that comes with coming back into the team in a big game, in front of an expecting crowd.
He's a World Cup star, eh? He's a World Cup star.
I just think it was a bit of the circumstance. It was kind of a weird actual time to throw him back in there.
Which was probably why they shouldn't have started him, and they should have just went. There are certain times where you should just probably go with what you know, and I think that's where you missed the opportunity, because the person that started this game probably should have been Ben White, because these guys have been playing together pretty consistently for the last several games. So a game of this magnitude, you got to go with what you know. And in that moment, I think Ben White would have probably been the better play.
You getting that crackle too, Rich? Anyways, yeah, I mean, the hindsight is 2020, man. We can Monday morning quarterback this thing till the cows come home. So I'd prefer to kind of, if we can continue on with the selection, up front we looked pretty good. It's just we were lacking finishing. So the Trossard non-selection wasn't so glaring, and like I said, we can Monday morning QB the Tomiyasu thing until we're blue in the face. Looking back on it right now, would Ben White have been maybe the better selection? Perhaps, and I think that that also kind of goes towards having without having Partey in there as well, right? An unfamiliar partner for him on that side of the pitch. That being said, one selection that was a forced selection, the Jorginho selection, turned out to be gold. To me, he was the best player that we had on the pitch. Someone said that he got turned around a couple times, maybe. That has nothing to that is nothing in comparison to the 8 tackles or the 8 duels that he won, or the 8 times he won the ball back, and 86, I think it was, % pass completion rate. He was excellent, and it wasn't just the stats. He passed the eye test as well. He was one of the only guys who looked up for it, who looked actually like ready. You know what I mean? Like he looked like he knew what the occasion was about, and he came to party. So
I really didn't see him get turned around.
Exactly.
Did I miss something?
Exactly. Maybe we'll get to player ratings a little bit later on, but he was excellent. He was excellent, and it gives me a lot of hope for the next match, and also gives me a lot of hope for the possibility of Partey and Jorginho together, because to me this is now at least a second, if not third consecutive subpar performance from Xhaka. He just didn't show up. He made a few bad decisions in key moments, and he could have made the difference for us, and didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's very much so. I think you're spot on with the Xhaka call out. It's been 3 games, and I'm his biggest defender. It's been 3 games, and he has looked off the pace. And I've told you my theory on why he's off the pace, and it's too many games in a quick succession of time. So now you're going to turn around from a Wednesday night game. Now you're going to turn around and you have the early game on Saturday. So it's the 12. I think it's the 12 o'clock game. It's the first game of the Saturday. You have to turn around and play that game. The passes he were making, some of them were short, some of them were heavy.
Oh my gosh!
And that's all due to fatigue. If you've played basketball before, when your shots are short, you have no legs. You have no legs because you're tired. It's the same thing in soccer. When your passes are too heavy, you're tired. And I think he's tired. He's played every game, every minute. He's played Carling Cup, whatever it is, Caribou Cup, FA Cup, World Cup, and it's too much game. It's too many games for him. It's too many games for him.
Yeah, agreed.
So I mean, yeah, like you said, we'll get into the player ratings 100% because there's a couple of guys I really want to talk about. But as far as tactics go and the way we played in the first half compared to the way we played in the second half, the chances that we had that we didn't take. I'm not going to say anything, Edson. I'm not going to say anything yet.
Say the name, man. Say the name. Listen, I wanted to have Balogun to turn to at this point. Okay, you know what I mean? That was my plan. I'll
turn this over to Nick because I think Nick has a couple of key, choice words for our striker. Now we can't hear you.
Yeah, we'll have to read his lips on this.
We can't hear you.
We can do the old kung fu movie dub over.
So what are you saying? So I'll translate. I guess not translate, but I'll tell you what he's saying. He's saying Eddie Nketiah sucks. That's pretty much it. I know. While Nick is trying to figure that out, we'll go into a little bit of some of the tactics that we saw. Did we see anything different from that game against Man City, who's chasing us, than what we would have seen against someone like Everton? I didn't see a difference. I think we played the exact same way.
Yeah, I think that Zinchenko is maybe a little less free, and he was a little bit busier on the left side. So there was definitely, it seemed like there was more support for Martinelli, like that had kind of been addressed, or like that had been noticed and accounted for. Tactically, other than that, no. I mean, again, maybe a little bit less overlapping by Tommy, but he overlapped once or twice. There was
actually one time he was probably ahead of Nketiah at one point when Saka had the ball, which released Saka. Look how Saka played. Saka played fantastic.
Right.
Because we have that extra threat there. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about the midfield. I forgot. Anyways, so the Tomiyasu not substitution, but the Tomiyasu playing Tomiyasu instead of Ben White. I don't know if do you trust Ben White the same way you trusted him earlier on in the season right now? Could he be fatigued as well?
I mean, that's why I was calling for him to be substituted. However, his performances aside from United have been really assured back there. And so maybe Tomiyasu just, I don't know. Maybe this came too late or too early for Tomiyasu. I'm not really sure. I mean, the fact that it was City and top of the league and a huge clash, it just seemed like the moment ate him up a little bit.
Well, as a team, I think every team goes through this. There's not one team that goes undefeated. Oh, wait a minute. There is one team that went undefeated. But not every team can go undefeated, right? So there are going to be blips in your season. I don't care who you are. Even the best, it's translated to other sports as well. The best teams in those leagues still get beat. I mean, it's a rough patch right now. 3 games, 1 point, I believe, in 3 games. We're still tied with the so-called best team in the world, or best team in England for sure. And we have a game in hand.
That's right.
So and we still have to play them again. And I know it's at the Etihad, but I mean, again, I didn't see anything that I should be afraid of. Everything they got was a mistake by Arsenal. They made a mistake and they capitalized.
Here's the thing tactically that I noticed, and that was a bit surprising, is that not to say that we were gifted it, but we managed to keep so much possession of the ball. You know,
Yeah.
most people thought that the game was going to be, okay, you know, we probably get outpossessed and we're aiming to counter. No.
Yeah.
No. We went out there and we played ball with them. We outpossessed them. Obviously, some mistakes, you know, led to us giving up goals. But overall, you know, I mean, they even admitted, they had players on their squad that admitted that we outplayed them. So we outpossessed them and we outplayed them, but we didn't have the finishing. And we didn't get the results. We weren't clinical enough, and the result didn't come.
Well, Bernardo, I think one of those guys was Bernardo Silva on the other team who gave us a compliment. Well, gave Arsenal a compliment saying they looked like us 5 years ago, right before they took over and won 4 out of 5. That's what we looked like. Right. So, I mean, the improvement is there for people saying that, oh, we're bottle jobs. We're going to do. It's not the last game of the season and we lost, and now we lost the league. We're tied on points with the best team in England. I don't understand how we've lost it. The form is you know, it's worrying, but the way that they've played all season, I don't see them. I see them coming back from this. They don't have to play United again. They don't have to play Tottenham again. We have one more against City, one more against. I think we'll be fine. We go to Villa on Saturday. I think that's the game that you're going to see probably Kieran Tierney come in. You might see Partey back. If not, Jorginho is good enough for him. And like you said, even if Partey's healthy, it might be Jorginho and Partey in the middle.
100%. I think that midfield gets us over the line, and especially if you could get like a couple weeks rest for Xhaka at that point, then we start really rotating because you can play any combination of them now. You know what I mean? We've seen that. So, and like I said, I was super, super impressed with Jorginho, and all is forgiven. You know what I mean? Just like any ill will towards that move now, that's out the window. Okay, he came and he performed and put on a performance that our home crowd could be proud of. So,
that's right.
And I think that people were a little bit too harsh of him in his appearance previous to that as well.
Well, your first game on a new club. I mean, it's probably look at everybody else that went to a new team. They didn't play that well. We're looking at Mudryk right now. Oh yeah, he's fast. What has he done? Right?
Approaching 007 status.
So I mean, it's not something that you just automatically assume. Okay, this guy is this guy, so he's going to come in. He's automatically going to be the best. And when he lets a loose pass go, oh, what a waste of money. Everyone has to calm down a little bit. I mean,
absolutely,
we all as fans have to calm down, and we're expecting a little bit too much when guys come in, but you have to learn the tactics. You got to learn the players, and it takes a little bit of time. So I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about him.
He looked quite natural in that midfield. He looked like he's been playing in the system for some time.
World Cup player. I mean, he's an integral part of the Italian team that won Euro. He has the experience. He's won Premier League, Champions League. I believe he's won as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about here?
He definitely looked like the Euro Jorginho and the guy that the people at Chelsea, you know, the players that played with him at Chelsea missed. That's for sure. He showed us why he was. And for 12 million.
Yeah.
Okay. That was. I mean, if we had won that, he would have earned back the 12 million in the one game alone. You know what I mean?
Well, that's right.
If we had been able to pull it out, so impressive.
Well, I think Nick's back now. We can hear Nick, so he's back.
All right, wicked, awesome.
We were just talking about the tactics that Mikel Arteta employed. If they were any different from what we saw against a team like Everton, maybe, and we came to the conclusion that I think we played the same way.
So these Apple products are just not working out tonight. You guys can hear me fine now, right?
Oh, there goes the sponsorship. Thanks, man.
There it goes. Oh yeah. Well, shoot. Well, I'm just telling you, it's one of those things, man. I don't know. Anyways, what I was gonna say is, just rewind back a bit. It's not like Arsenal was outplayed. They actually played a really, really good game, especially in the first half. Aside from the mistake that was made. So this game here came down to mistakes, all mistakes, and individual bad performances. Like I think Arteta set up the team pretty good,
they were creating chances. But I mean, let's start with Nketiah. Like, you got to finish, man. You've got to finish. When it's put on a platter like that, you should at least. I wouldn't be mad if you just got it on target. Just put it. Just challenge the keeper. But this guy is missing wide left, wide right. There were two really good headers. He had opportunities to at least put on target. This guy's going right. Loss of concentration. There was one where I think it was Saka, or maybe not even Saka. It might have been Zinchenko, actually, that put it across the box where he just slid right into it. Who made that shot?
It was Zinchenko, and it was a lovely cross.
What a cross. Like, all he had to do was get his foot on it, and it was going in. Like, you're a striker. You should be anticipating these things happening. Well, what's happening? Is he having moments of like attention deficit? I don't get it. Just a mess. Xhaka. Give me a break with this guy. Like, without Partey out there, he's it's like he reverted back to the old Xhaka. That was just irritating to watch. And I mean, he had it might have been Martinelli running down the side there on a platter, and he just heavy foot went long. How many times? Then it started looking like the guy was just playing nervous. Like, especially lately, after they went down 2-1, it's like you couldn't even trust him to make a pass or clear the zone or anything. He was just in a different place.
My Xhaka moment was when it was served up to him on a platter. He had a shot, takes the extra dribble, doesn't get around the man.
It doesn't get a shot off. There was that too. I'm like, what are you afraid to take it? He's never afraid.
You know what? In order for us to maintain our position, we need our big players to make big plays. And I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, we need them. Like, as much as, okay, Eddie Nketiah is maybe not showing up, you know, he's our backup. You know what I mean? Like, he's essentially doing, you know, the best that he can, and he won a penalty. You know what I mean? We need our big players to step up. And, you know, without Partey there, Xhaka is more at the top of the list in terms of, like, our big players, our guys who have been with the club the longest, who are experienced, and we needed something big. We needed something bigger from Xhaka. We needed a captain's performance from Xhaka.
That's fair.
We said why this didn't happen, though, right? Yeah. We know why it didn't happen. We talked about it. Yeah. It's the fatigue. I'm sorry to tell you guys.
So you think it's fatigue with Zinchenko too? Because I didn't think he particularly had a great game either.
Zinchenko was fine.
I didn't think he was that great. Yeah, I think Martinelli was good. I think Saka was good because of who was covering him in the first half. And then after they put Aki back on him, the second half was just a mystery. Well, mystery to him. Like, they knew what they were going to get when they put Ake back on him.
I think he played well in the second half as well. I mean, I don't think he did much wrong.
He was bossing in the first half. Like, you couldn't be saying it was clearly a tactical change. Like,
they shifted Silva further up the field.
Yeah, that's it. That's the change.
Brought on a Kanji.
Yeah. So I know we're gonna, like I said, I know we're gonna get into the player ratings a little bit later. Is there anything else, Nick? I know you were away for a little bit. Is there anything else that
your boy number 8, Odegaard? Like, there were some. He had some Ozil moments there, man. He did. He had some Ozil moments. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll talk about it when we talk about the ratings.
Was an Ozil moment good or bad?
No, as an Ozil moment bad. He did.
It's an Ozil moment's bad?
Like a bad Ozil moment where it's just like a deer in headlights. And it just seemed like he was a couple times. I just was like, what are you doing, man? Like, where are you? More like, where were you? Were you that stamped out? Like, these guys are that, like, I'm not buying it, man. Something, the team, they played well. This was very reminiscent of the effort that they gave against Man U and just took the L last year. And it felt the same.
They were cheated that game.
Exactly. Well, that, yeah. But they looked that good to start. this was definitely not the 5-0 to Man City.
Well, it hurts when you give away a goal that that soon in the game. It kind of hurt, especially when you should have been up already. But anyways, we'll start with the player ratings now. We've talked about the tactics and what we saw and what we think should happen and should have happened. But so we'll start with the player ratings now. Well, we always got to start with the goalie. So, Nick, what did you give Ramsdale?
What can I say?
Are we frozen?
A little bit.
What's happening here? Nick, you with us?
He's
Your mic's gone again, Nick.
Things have literally gone sideways.
You said that you bad talk Apple and look. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. I like that. You bad talk Apple and then there you go, buddy. There's your karma right there. But okay, so while Nick figures that out, Edson Ramsdale.
Poor distribution. He looked rushed and hurried the entire game. I think that maybe he could have done a little more to offer Tommy a better target or being a little bit further out of his net, closer to the sweeping position when Tommy passed back as well. I noticed, I'm like, why are you still in your net? You know what I mean? Like, I thought you'd be kind of coming out to kind of, clear and then cruising back to his net and maybe anticipating that there'd be a pass back possibly. So, but you're not. I don't. That's talking about the Tomiyasu pass. That's nitpicking on replay. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then the Holland goal was deflected, right?
Grealish goal.
The Grealish goal was deflected. Again, that was Tommy coming across. A lot of times you see good defenders kind of pull their leg back in that situation as well. You know what I mean? Kind of pull out of that situation to give their goalie a good look at the shot. I can't put my finger on the third. I'm giving him a 6. The
third goal is Kevin De Bruyne coming down the wing and crossing it in, and then Haaland hit it with his left, and then first timed it with his right into the bottom corner of the side. He didn't have a chance on that either. Yeah, but
I'm giving him a 6, and that's being generous. That's a generous 6.
Nick, you're good? No. So we can't. So I'll give my rating while Nick fixes his mic. I gave him a 5.
Yeah, sure.
I gave him a 5 for pretty much the same reasons you did. The distribution it just looked like, I don't know. He had one good punch in the first half off a corner. He was able to clear that out. Something he didn't do against Everton, but he did that one play. But there's got to be a point in a game where a goalie saves you. He has to save you. He has to come up with something that's, out of this world. And I don't think he was able to come up with anything like that. And actually, he was, like we say, his strong suit is probably his distribution, and it wasn't very good on Wednesday night. And I don't know if that's because the moment was too big or what. But if you hear them talk before the game, no one's afraid. Everyone's ready, and you go have a howler like that. I don't know, but I gave him a 5. Nick's gone again, so we'll keep going. We'll get Nick's ratings when he gets back. We'll start with Tomiyasu. We'll start on the right hand side there, and Tomiyasu.
That's a 4.
Is it a 4 because he played bad, or is it a 4 because of is it a 4 because he gave away the goal, or is it a 4 because he played bad?
It's a 4 because he gave away the not just the goal, and then it was, like I said, the deflection on the Grealish goal. You've seen good defenders, pull their leg out of there when they realize, okay, it's a shot that's that's going to get on net. You know what I mean? And it's a savable shot from a savable distance. My goalie should have it. Like, let him get a clean look at it. Like you've seen guys when, stay on their feet, pull out, whatever the case is. he comes sliding across and gets just enough of it to put him off of it. And it was just an all around kind of nervy performance from him. When you hoped, and I mean, I would have bet the farm that it would have been so much better. So a disappointing performance from him, and he's kind of got to work his way back in. He just
maybe that's not the game. Maybe that's not the game you put a guy who hasn't played in a game in how many ever games. Maybe that's not the game you start him in.
Yeah, it does go back to the manager certainly.
So we'll also give Arteta a rating for that. I think Nick's back.
So let me jump in and just quickly say what I was going to say about Ramsdale. I actually didn't think he played bad. I think he was the victim of the circumstances, the mistakes. I would go as far as I guess maybe from a distribution standpoint to get things going. I don't know if it was, but they were creating chances. So no, I'd probably give him a 7. I thought Ramsdale was as good as he could be. He was just put in bad situations every time. Well, I don't think there was nothing more you could let him do. Where are you guys at?
He created some of those himself, but yeah. We're at Tomiyasu. So we just finished Ramsdale. We're at Tomiyasu now. So Nick, Edson's gave him a 4, I believe. Is that right?
Correct.
So Edson gave him a 4. What are you giving Tomiyasu?
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna also say 4.
I asked Nick the same. I asked Edson the same question. Are you giving him a 4 because of the goal, or are you giving him a 4 because he played bad?
I'm giving it for both. I didn't think he played great. I think he was. You know what? Like I said, I mean, yeah. I guess the justification was he started against Liverpool and they went out there and they lost, and he was great. So you can slot him in any time, and he's gonna produce. It's lack of minutes, man. I think that makes a difference with him. I think he was fresh. I think it was just a lapse in concentration, and not just for the rest of the game. It just sort of screwed him. So no, like 4 max for me. That's it.
I gave him a 5. That's tough. I take into the account that it's tough to sit on the bench for all those games and not play. And now you have to cover Kevin De Bruyne. Now you have to get involved with Haaland. Now you got to get involved with Bernardo Silva. So it might have been too soon.
When you said
not too soon, but just not enough repetitions to go against the big boys like that. So I gave him a 5 for that. I mean, you can tell the first time he was under pressure was the goal he gave up. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm going to chalk that down to rust and not,
But when you set the standard too high, against, like I just said, Liverpool, people are just going to expect you to come in and do things. So to your point, you would probably convince me to turn that into a 5 as well. So
I didn't really even get in that much space in the first place. You know what I mean? I'd have to go back and even watch it. But like for that goal, for him to be,
he was wide open, eh?
Yeah. So for him to be having to slide into frame, and then gets a little piece of it,
I don't even know where he was. Where was he coming from? I don't even know where he was.
So even then, like trying to slide in, I feel like you're doing too much. Ramsdale had a beat on that.
That's a savable shot. He would have saved it if it didn't get deflected. So
he
would have. He would have.
Yeah.
All right, so we're finished with Tomiyasu. Let's go to the middle of the field now in the partnership of Gabriel and Saliba. We'll start with Gabriel. Another guy I wanted rotated, but whatever.
Yeah, difficult place for someone to make their debut. I don't know who you planned on rotating in front of him, but
Ben White. Why not? Huh? Ben White. Why not?
Ben White on the right and then Saliba on the left.
Why not? Again, we're giving this left-footed center back thing a little bit too much power in our prediction This was never a thing. It was never a thing up until Pep Guardiola came to the EPL. It's never a thing. But okay, continue.
Yeah, I mean, he was involved in some things. I think he had a pretty good chance there on a header off a corner, if I'm not mistaken, as well. He got that. There was the one play where he got turned around, which ended up being offside. I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
So,
was beaten.
yeah. That would have been a penalty given, but he was. It was a moot point because it was offside. So if I'm rating his performance, I'm gonna give him a 6. It was actually he was better than Ramsdale. So maybe I gotta either amend Ramsdale or I'll give him a 7. Let's call it a 7.
You're gonna have to amend Ramsdale because you can't give him a 7.
Okay, all right. Amending Ramsdale.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I thought Ramsdale was better than him. I think Ramsdale's getting a bad rap. I didn't think Ramsdale played bad at all. I think he's again circumstance and guys were not there to protect him. So Gabriel, I don't know, man.
Sloppy.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Oh yeah.
Like you're gonna blame him on that deflection?
Well, no, but I mean there was other things in the game that he was supposed to be our strong suits weren't his strong suits that game. But we've talked about Ramsdale. Let's go to Gabriel. Edson's giving him a 6.
Yeah, we're going down to 6. Yeah.
Okay. Nick, what do you give him?
You can mark him down with a 5 for me, actually. A 5. And it's just because I don't know, I guess who can you save from yourself here? I mean, I'd be telling the manager, like, I'm beat. Like, you could tell, especially around, like, I'd say it was effective somewhat up until the 50-minute mark. After that, I didn't understand what was happening. Like, I don't know. Like, you could tell he's tired out there. And, overall, his performance wasn't inspiring. I even found that, like, there was a couple times he rebounded to save Saliba's backside ass, but overall, not that impressive. He wasn't influential after 45 minutes at all. And I think that had a lot to do with just his fitness. So, which again is not his, but it is what it is.
Well, I'm giving him a 5 as well, just based off what you said, Nick, as well. It doesn't look. He looks fatigued as well. Again, another player, and you can see the similarities that are all the things that I'm saying about all the players that played bad. It's too many minutes. He's played we're playing Carling Cup. Unfortunately, FA Cup and Caribou Cup are the games where you blood your youngsters. That's what it was for. That's what it's been for.
Arson did right. That's what Arson did right.
So to play your starters in those games Thursday night or whatever night it is, and then turn around and play them Saturday, and then play a game again on Wednesday, and turn around and play the same guys again Saturday again or Sunday, whatever it is. Now, when Europa League gets back, it's going to be Thursday and Saturday again. I don't know, man. You're going to have to find a way to get these guys some rest somewhere if you're going to keep running the same 11 out there. So I give him a 5 as well, just based on I think he's tired. And when you get tired, you make mistakes. So, yeah, and like you said, Edson, lucky he was offside because that's a PK.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That's a PK. So we'll go to the partner, Saliba. We'll start with Edson.
Saliba. I mean, if I'm given a 6, we're going the same thing. The partnership gets a 6. You know what I mean? The partnership gets a 6.
Yeah.
I think he did okay with the Holland test. Outside of that, we needed some bigger plays. We needed more from our center backs. And obviously they're adjusting to not having Partey in front of them as well. And that affects them probably more than anybody. But again, there was a good performance in front of them. It seemed like Xhaka and Jorginho were kind of playing a little more of a two-man, you know what I mean, a two-man pivot. Whereas when Partey's there, he sits more. So maybe that that might have affected them a little more. And obviously they're up against the best attack in the world, probably. So
yeah.
So there's that factor also. Yeah, 6 matching Gabriel.
Wow, you're good.
I gave him a 6 as well. I think I gave Gabriel a 5. I think he played slightly better than Gabriel. I don't think Haaland really gave him much of a problem. It was more of the play around him that was the issue. So I gave him a 6 for that. Nick?
Whenever, like physically, it seemed like he was going toe to toe with Haaland. It was impressive. I gave him that much. But yeah, like they can wear you down, like, and clearly, like, he got worn down late. But I mean, he's still. I would say 5 again. I'd say the both of them get a 5. I'd probably say Gabriel. I thought what I saw from Gabriel was a little bit better, but yeah. I mean, I'll go with what Edson says, man. Like, the partnership was a 5 for me.
So what'd you give Saliba? A 5?
5, yeah.
Okay. So we'll move to the left and go with Zinchenko. I'll start it off. I gave Zinchenko a 5. Again, he shouldn't be as fatigued as everyone else because he was injured for most of the beginning of his career at Arsenal. He didn't go to the World Cup, so he was rehabbing and resting then as well. But I mean, watching him play, these guys, it's the same theme. He just looked tired. Like I said last show, or maybe the show before that, it seems once we get around the 18-yard box, the ideas just disappear, and we pass across the 18-yard box until Odegaard's able to make some circus pass to somebody. I don't see teams like Man City even watching them. They don't do that. When they get forward, they're getting forward. They're in your box in 10 passes. They're in the box. We play around the box. So it all starts from guys like Zinchenko because he's more of a midfielder than a left back. Let's be honest. So and for me, he's looking a little bit fatigued as well. So that's why I'm giving him a 5.
Well, his natural position is not a left back. His natural position is in the midfield. And, I thought he probably thought too when he was coming to Arsenal that he'd probably get more opportunities in the midfield. But hey, he slotted himself in because he's a good left back. But I mean, it's still, you're asking someone to play outside of their normal position, even though you wouldn't know it because he does end up in the midfield at most points during the game. I didn't think he played particularly well. And, maybe you're right again. Maybe it's an energy thing. Like it's Arteta's not rotating these guys, and it's showing up. And now we're putting the blame on them. They played, again, exceptional for 45 minutes. One mistake, and that's Zinchenko included. But by the time we got past 50 minutes into, like, at the 50-minute point, everything just sort of crashed. Right after they got that, I can't remember, when did they get the second goal? I don't have anything in front of me. The second goal came when?
The time?
Yeah.
I think 72 minutes.
72 minutes. But you could just see they weren't in control. Like, you could tell that these guys the older guys were taking advantage of tired legs. Go figure. And that's what I saw as Zinchenko. So for me, 5, max 5. I think it was a good opportunity to bring Tierney, and Arteta just wouldn't. And I know you guys are saying that Tierney works well with this person. Tierney probably deserved a run.
Tierney will play on Saturday. I guarantee you that. Edson.
I don't think we can guarantee anything with these selections. I think we're a lot closer to seeing the same 11 out there, or going back to Ben White and throwing the same 11 out there.
We can't see the same 11. We cannot see the same.
I just think we're a lot closer to that than seeing some changes like Zinchenko not starting. You know what I mean? That's just my 2 cents on that matter.
Gotta find the rest for these guys somewhere, man. Man City was able to do it. Everyone was asking Pep Guardiola if he was okay, not starting De Bruyne a couple of games ago.
That's right. he looked pretty fresh yesterday. That's for sure.
You find rest for these guys somewhere. Somewhere you got to find rest for them. But anyways, we're talking about Zinchenko. So
yeah, I think Odegaard's another guy who, and we'll get to him in a minute, but he's looking a little knackered out there. He looks like, I mean, if I'm not starting anybody next game, you know what I mean, in the attack. Anyways, we'll get to that.
Need Smith Rowe, man. Need Smith Rowe back, man.
He's close. He's close, I say. So let's keep our fingers crossed for no setbacks. Zinchenko, man, I'm going to give him a 6 because if it ended, let's say 2-2, and he happened to make the goal for the Eddie game, the Eddie game tying goal with that beautiful cross that Nick was mentioning earlier, then he probably would have ended up on a 7. But he didn't score it, even though the cross was beautiful and Zinchenko made the moment. And I think that he was the one who was providing the key support to Gabriel Martinelli on the left side, which made him, look, I think, a little bit better throughout the game as well. So, and he had a couple more like overlapping runs and just kind of more playing closer to the left back position. Maybe not a whole bunch of overlapping or anything like that, but I didn't see him playing right wing. You know what I mean? I didn't see him playing right midfield. He was playing that left side, and I think because of that, I felt like it was maybe a more kind of an even performance from him, I'd say. And a lot of the play goes through him, and a lot of play goes through that side. It starts with Gabriel and goes through that side. And he handled a lot of, tight situations and pressure situations, I thought, fairly well, just in terms of not giving the ball away a whole bunch. And he, like I said, he created a chance or two. So I'm giving him a 6.
Okay. Let's move on to the midfield proper. We got Jorginho, Xhaka, and Odegaard. We'll start with Jorginho. You can go ahead, Nick.
I'm not going to give him a bad rating because I thought it was an admirable effort being put into that position, probably at the 23rd hour. I thought he started the game relatively well. But, obviously he's not built to go in there and put in that many minutes, at this point. But if I were to say, I'll give him credit, man. I'll give him a 7. A 7. I thought it was a pretty good performance. I guess if I were to judge him on the game, the 7's really nice, but on the game itself, I would give him a 6. I thought he could have been a little more influential and helped out Xhaka a bit more. But again, he's still learning the system under Arteta too, right? So,
So 6 or 7?
Let's go with a 7.
Edson?
Yeah, that was our best performance. That was an 8. At the very least, and 8's not being so generous. He was excellent. The ball progression, chances created. He created that one chance for Eddie with a long pass, if I'm not mistaken. He was excellent. The amount of duels that he won, balls won in the midfield, anything that was 50-50, he was on it. And won, you know what I mean? That was a committed performance, quality midfield performance. I'd like to see him more in that box-to-box role and getting involved in creation and breaking the lines with some of his passing genius, which, like I said, was on display. He looked excellent. 12 million well spent. And I would look forward to seeing, like I said, he and Partey partnered together in an effort, hopefully, to give Xhaka a little bit of rest and a freshen up going into the last part of the season.
I would love to see that too. I gave him a 7 as well, and that's the highest rating I gave anybody on the team. Again, you started off saying you were saying that people were telling you that he got turned around a couple of times. Again, I didn't see it. So sometimes when you're not noticed, that's when you play your best, right? So if you're not calling his name that often, means he's not making a mistake. He's just going about his business, getting his job done. So I don't. He came in to do. He was brought in to our team not to score goals, but keep the team ticking, which is what he tried to do that night. So I gave him a 7 as well. So that's the highest ranking I've given anybody on this team for that performance.
Yeah, and he had what looked to me to be the required energy for the task. You know what I'm saying? He was moving at the right speed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like you said, keeping it ticking. You know, the play was fast through him. The play was quick through him. You know what I mean? Like very quick decision making, moving the ball quickly and accurately. Unlike, I guess, probably his partner, who we're going to get to next.
So we'll move to his partner, Granit Xhaka, who started off the season, could have been player of the year.
Yeah.
Last 3 games has been a little bit of a decline from that. I'm not going to base his season based off that one game. But I'll give my rating, and unfortunately for the performance, it's a 4 for me, just because I know he can play better than what he did, and it was a big ass game, and he didn't show up, so that's why I'm giving him a 4.
Yeah, I think a 4 is. I'm not going to say generous. I'm going to say, I mean, he didn't have any, mistakes leading directly to goals like a Tomiyasu. So I'd say 4 is probably.
I think he did actually. I think he did give away the ball for the second goal.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He absolutely gave away the ball for the second.
Sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah. So there you go. 4.
Okay, it's one mistake, right? Who cares? But again, it's a team that you make a mistake, they punish you, like not like us. But anyways, I'll let you give your number.
Yeah. Overall, for reasons that we stated before as well, just errant passes and missing his chance to take a chance when it appeared. For a 4 is probably a little generous as well, just because there's been a steady decline over these last 3 games, and we've seen it. And that's probably more on the manager than it is on him.
Well, it is. We've talked about the load in basketball. It'd be load management, but I don't know what it's called in football. But anyways, Nick, what's your rating for Xhaka?
I'm gonna go with a 3. And the reason I'm going to go with a 3 is because of everything Edson just said. In addition to, and I'm telling you, you have to go back and look at this game, particularly the last maybe 20, 25 minutes, where Xhaka with the ball looked lost. He looked like, I don't even think he knew where he was. He's like, I don't know what to do with this. It's like you tossed him a hot potato, and this dude was just like, I don't know what to do with it. That one heavy pass where I was like, you can't get a guy on the wing more open than that. Or it's like, dude, like the one that you were just talking about with the shot too. Like, you've got to take the shot there. What are you afraid of? It was like the ball was a hot potato, and he was not willing to be like. That was the guy. I remember, I think, making a comment in the group where I was like, I don't like this substitution. I think it was the first one. Why is Xhaka not being pulled out of this game? He doesn't know what's going on. So for as good as he's played this season, I don't know what was in his head. I don't know what he was doing out there. And it reflected that goal. I 1,000% blame it on him. I think people are going to say, well, it was Zinchenko who made the last pass there that led to it, but it started with Xhaka giving the ball away. And that's what I said. You look at that last part of the game, and you're going to be like, what's this guy doing? Just lost. So 3.
Okay. We'll move to the attack now. So we have Odegaard, Eddie, Martinelli, Saka. We'll get into the subs as well later, but we'll start with Odegaard, our captain. Edson, you can start.
Yeah, I guess we're just throwing around a lot of fives because there was no party this week, So, in honor of Thomas, yeah, another five performance, for me.
That's your captain that's getting a 5, eh? So, and then in the biggest game in Arsenal's in 2 years, 3 years at Arsenal, but. Anyways,
yeah, and I mean, just on a side note, I heard people say throughout the season, better than De Bruyne. Let's. I mean, I understand performance to performance, but let's not disrespect KDB with trying to put Odegaard in the same class just yet. Okay,
yeah,
that's sure. All I'm gonna say.
I agree. Nick, what do you think?
Like I said, there was the game, the team. I'm telling you, those first 45 minutes, it was like they were. I was saying it. It looked like Manchester City was playing scared. These guys were clicking, so I can't It's just that everything that happened in the second half. Again, I don't know if it had to do with the kid being tired. Because he's been pushed a lot as well. Like he's in every game. And it looked maybe not a deer in headlights, but it's just like I'm beat. Mentally, I'm a mess. These guys were playing probably some of the best in defend. Actually, no, I'm not gonna say that, but because I'll be complimenting Kyle Walker and I don't want to do that. But he just looked mentally and physically beat. And there was a couple times where I'm like, why aren't you making this pass there? Why aren't you do and he did complete a lot. He did a lot, particularly on Saka's side. I thought he was pretty good. Obviously he's playing the middle and rolling everywhere. But when he was on Saka's side, he seemed to be a bit more creative than the other side. I'm gonna have to go with a 6, 5 or 6. Hey, you want me to give 0.5s?
6.
I'm gonna give him a 5. I can't go with it. I really want to give him 5.5 because I thought he was in between that, but I'm gonna give him a 5. And it was like a deep dive. He was trending high to start, but a deep dive happened in the second half, and that's what brought it all the way back to 5.
Okay, so 5 across the board for Odegaard. Now we're moving to the middle of the field. The striker, Mr. Eddie Nketiah.
Oh,
I'll let you start, Nick.
He's a mess, yo. Listen, you're a striker. That's what you call yourself. You have the opportunity. I don't want to hear about backup. This was your opportunity. But I'm not going to get upset with Eddie if he's putting the ball on target, at least challenging. This guy is losing concentration mid-cross. There were chances in this game that would have changed the game if he just put them away. And they were reasonable chances. They weren't, strikers are a lot. I think 9 times out of 10, the other guy on the side of the ball, he's putting that away. If you just want me to take someone even like a Tony, you give him those chances, and he's putting it away.
Who?
Tony, I'm even saying, is putting it away.
Who's Tony?
Tony.
Ivan
Tony.
Oh, Ivan Toney. Oh, I thought you were talking about someone on our team. I was like, who the hell's Tony?
We just played them.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about someone on Arsenal.
No. He's putting them away. He's a striker. This is his job. And I couldn't understand. You can't get one of those on target? What are you thinking? And then there was just the other opportunities of balls I think he just should be getting to. There was one that Odegaard gave him. This might have been a through ball even. That I'm like, why isn't he on this? Or why can't he have? He had such a terrible touch on it. I was like, what's happening? Put a touch on that and get the ball on target. Not even a shot. No, I was very disappointed. That's a 1 for me. 1. No credit.
A 1.
A 1.
He won a penalty, you moron.
I'm not.
A 1.
He won a penalty, for God's sakes.
No, he did not.
He won the penalty that got us tied at the half.
Stop.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he won the penalty.
Addison was flying into him. He was flying. It was almost instant.
No, but we talked about this. If a defender does that, it's a penalty. So if a goalie does it, it's a penalty as well. What's the difference?
I don't think
that's right.
100%.
Right place. Takes the man out of the play and makes no play, not even aim towards the ball.
No, maybe I'm allowing my.
That's a penalty, guy. That's a penalty.
Maybe I'm letting my emotion about this bad performance make me say 1 when he probably deserves a 2. But I'm sorry. Like, I'm still gonna say 1 because no. Fine, I'll give you the 1 for getting the penalty. That thank goodness they put Saka up there to shoot. You know, it was Saka or the captain. I'll take 100% shooting that. Great, thanks a lot, man. Because you weren't gonna put it on target. Dude.
He did other good things out there. His hold-up play was decent. He was fouled quite a bit. You know what I mean? Like, his link-up wasn't too bad, but the finishing was not there. And
striker goal, right?
I know what his job is. He also won a penalty. You know what I mean? Which is like more than I can say for pretty much anybody else in the attack. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know about if Odegaard doesn't have a good game, then obviously where's the service coming from? You know what I mean?
He got service though.
He had chances, but was he getting actual
those were
if you give Harry Kane those 2 chances, those are goals. Those are 2 goals.
Putting all 3 of those in. All 3.
Every striker.
That one on the stretch, I'm not gonna blame him for that one. That ball was fizzed in, and it was a little bit ahead of him.
I think if he's
thinking, what I'm saying, they're not all 100%. Not all expected goals.
He's getting that.
2 of them were. 2 of them were.
One. I say definitely 1 was.
Definitely 100% 1 was, but I say 2 of them were.
I say 3. Right? I say
I'll give him that 3rd one. I don't think there's many strikers that would have got on the end of that ball. It was 2 feet in front of him, fizzed in. He probably saw it late too because the defender in front of him. So I'm not gonna blame him for that one, but definitely those first 2.
But I mean, he was running though. Like the thing about it is
I know, but still, even if the ball's put in, even if the ball hits that slick surface and takes off again, he's not gonna get to that ball.
I'm giving him the We Miss Thomas 5 as well.
Wow. 5? Oh.
5's high.
5?
I'm giving him the We Miss Thomas 5. I mean, I will say forget about that. What I really wanted to see more was like pressing energy at the top, and I didn't see enough of that, especially not in the first half. Saw a lot more of it in the second half, but I thought that he could have brought that to the table a little bit more in the first half.
Wasn't disruptive, man. No, he was not being disruptive. Like, he was just sort of floating around, man. That's what I saw. I saw him just floating around.
He was better at it in the second half, and he was better.
Did you give him a 2, Nick, or 1? Can't remember.
I want to give him 1. I do. But that makes me feel bad about this penalty. Both.
Give your rating. Your rating. What is it? 1 or 2? 1? 2. 2? 1.
Fine. I've been influenced. 2.
5?
2. 2.
Right.
2.
I gave him a 4 just because he didn't do his job. Strikers score, get 2 chances, score 1. Okay, no problem. Miss both, especially at the point of the game where you miss them. I'm sorry, man. I can't have that. I can't have that. He did win the penalty. Regardless if you think it's a penalty or not, it is a penalty. Anywhere on the field, that's a foul. So it has to be a foul in the box as well. If Kyle Walker does that, it's probably a foul and a card. So I gave him a 4, mainly because he was the one that got us back into the game for that. He could easily have pulled out of that, and he didn't. He went through. So I gave him a 4 for that.
Yeah.
We'll go to the other side of him there. On to the left side, and Martinelli. We'll start with Edson.
Yeah, Martinelli. Better than he has been previous weeks, but there's no end product. There were a couple of crosses into the box. I don't know. It's just kind of a blah performance. So I mean, I was not as disappointed with him as I was with. Actually, now my rankings are shaking out right. I was not disappointed with him as much as I was with Odegaard. So I'll say he gets 6.
I gave him a 5. He was better than he has been in the last couple of weeks, like you said, for sure. I think he looks at his performances in the last 2 games and says he has to be better, and I saw him trying to be better. Whether it's Trossard lighting the fire under him, or it's just his personal, his personal pride that was getting in the way, and that he wanted to prove that he can still play. So I gave him a 5 because he was better than he was the last game. I don't remember what I gave him last game, but I saw a pretty good performance out of him on Wednesday night. Nick, what did you give him? Martinelli.
I was pleasantly surprised by Martinelli's performance. He's been facing a lot of heat, getting pulled early. I thought he was pretty good. I really do. I thought, particularly in the first half, I thought he was actually. And I think he kept the engine kind of moving then. So for me, I give him a 7. Yeah, I like 7 is as high as I go, but and that's probably the highest I've went for anyone. 7.
Okay, so we'll go to the last player in the starting lineup, Bukayo Saka.
Well. Who wants to start?
Nick, go ahead.
Well, again, they started Silva against Saka, and he was just killing him. That was the reason why they looked so good. I thought he was exceptional. But when Pep took them back at halftime, and this is the difference. Adjustments. He saw that and he's like, no more. And then I think they put Ake on him, and that was it. Completely different game. In fact, City, in my opinion, they took control of the game at that point. When they were able to figure out how to deal with Saka on this side, and you eliminate him, and now you just have to deal with everybody else. And because of that, and Saka not being able to manage that, I gave him a 6.
6 for Saka. 6 for Saka. Okay. Edson?
I'm giving Saka a raw dog 7. Raw dog because he gets no protection. These referees are out here letting our crown jewel get chopped down. At the second Bernardo Silva foul should have been a yellow.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Then there was a foul on Saka after the actual yellow. There was another foul, but it wasn't by Bernardo Silva. I forget who it was, but someone took another big, huge chunk out of Saka. That should have been a yellow also, right? It's a clear tactic that they're using. You know what I mean? Chop him down. Don't let him get into open field. And still he managed to find his openings, obviously, because Silva eventually did get that yellow. And I saw more running at defenders from Saka yesterday than I feel like we normally get a chance to see. So, yeah, I like the way that he played. I just feel like he's not being refereed very well right now. And I feel like he should, at this point, he's earned enough now at this point to be offered more protection, I feel like. And that was supposed to be a pro-Arsenal referee yesterday. And people say. And, I mean, I don't think there's such a thing, to be honest with you. But as as impartial to us as they come, and I feel like nobody's done a good job yet of really providing our players, and in particular him, with protection.
Well, he's as an English a fan of the English national team. The referee should be. I'm assuming he is, since he's English. Right. He should be able to protect those guys. Right? You would think, right? But anyways, I might be crazy. I don't know. Try not to get your crown jewel of your national team injured as well while you're reffing. I don't know. Maybe it sounds crazy, but I gave him a 6. He was very lively. Scored the PK. Again, we fall back into losing a little bit of his edge because of what's going on behind him as far as overlapping and not being able to get double teamed and things like that. So
a word on the PK, by the way. If he had missed the penalty, right, it would be all the shithousery and Ederson pointing at the corner.
Ederson's an idiot.
Exactly, Ederson's an idiot. But he wasn't fazed by any of that, and he wasn't fazed by the long wait for the check before the penalty as well. You know what I mean? He still stepped up in a pressure situation. I think that contributes in a big way to my 7. So
again, too. I mean, we can say it till we're blue in our face, but like I just really thought that like this Pep he made the adjustment on him, man. Like, what was that swap? Wasn't it for Mahrez? Didn't they bring in a center back for Mahrez?
It might have been a Kanji for Mahrez, I think.
Yeah,
maybe
something like that. Those type of moves, and obviously they were being. I don't know about. First of all, I don't know if it was as much in the game plan as you thought. I thought Silva was just frustrated. I thought he just couldn't handle it. So he's like, I gotta hit this guy because I can't do anything else. He keeps turning on me. He's like he's too quick. The only way I can hold this guy down is to try and lay some wood on this guy. Hit him. And that, I mean, I probably thought the second one should have been a second yellow. He should have had 2 yellows. He should have been gone from that game. But hey, you know what? Again, this is the Premier League, man. It's not supposed to be easy, bro. It's supposed to be physical. It's supposed to be tough. So,
there's physical and there's dirty. So,
and I agree with but I mean, was there anything that was completely egregious that you saw? Come on, man. Maybe they're just doing it right.
There was.
You
can't kick guys. You can't kick guys and not get the ball. You just can't do that.
Obviously, you can't kick guys, but
But there's no punishment, so I guess you can. So, so that's the outfield players. Are we going to go into the substitutes? Do we see enough from them to give them a rating?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be, for me, it's 5s across the board. I don't think they played enough to have an impact on the game.
Like, is what you're bringing in someone at the 70 or 80 minute mark, and that you're going to expect something to happen there? I don't know. Like, I'd love to look.
Yeah, the substitutions came late. There's a lot. I mean, Arteta's rating, I guess, is next, right?
Yeah. So let's we'll leave the substitutes. I'm just giving a 5 across the board for everybody. And it's not really much. No one really did anything that stood out. So let's go to the manager right now. The last rating of the night. So we'll do the manager. Edson, you can start.
Man. Trash.
you got most of it wrong, but anyways.
Trash. Yeah. Real trash. And it's a cumulative trash, probably 1 rating. And I say that because not that he shouldn't have taken my advice and started Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu should have started the week before, 2 weeks before, been comfortable and settled by the time we got to Man City. Not what we saw. So the attack wasn't freshened up. We thought that maybe Eddie could have sat, right? That was kind of where we ended the last show, that maybe Eddie could have sat, and you maybe swap between or try Martinelli in the middle or Trossard in the middle. That didn't happen. There was so much more throughout the game that was just all wrong. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'll even go back to like the fact that we don't have Balogun as an option. You know what I mean? The fact that the manager decided not to call him back. We don't have a second striker option. Forget about injury. You know what I mean? Like when somebody's not firing for 3 games in a row, then what happens? You know what I mean? We don't have anyone to turn to right now. That's really disappointing. And it doesn't matter when Gabriel comes back. You know, okay, even maybe he's a couple of weeks away. The league could be gone in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So,
yes.
So I'm making that a part of my cumulative rating. On top of actually what we ended up, the product that we ended up seeing out there. Yeah, I mean a 1 for so many reasons. A 1.
Well, I'll give my rating, and then we'll leave Nick with the final word. I gave him a 4. There were parts of the game where we did look dominating out there, but again, the selection, and I don't think in this game the 11 picked itself. I don't think so, but the selection of the starting lineup, the lateness of the substitutions, the not being able to be flexible when Pep Guardiola makes or any coach makes an adjustment, you have to be able to counter adjust. And I think we talked about this last podcast, maybe the podcast before, maybe it was just in the chat. Where is the foresight to see Saka's not doing well on the right? Let me switch sides. Switch Martinelli and switch Saka.
We
change sides.
Killed me.
I think, was it on the show or did we just talk about it in the chat? I can't remember.
On the show, we talked about it on the show.
Yeah, so I don't see where that is. I mean, you're just gonna play 90 minutes of the same thing every time, and guys aren't getting joy on either side. But why don't you just swap them and see what happens? What could be worse than what's going on right now?
Right.
I think we made a call, or you made a call, to start Trossard instead of Nketiah up top. Because by the time Trossard comes on, I mean, his strong suit is his creativity when he has the ball. Not a creative passer like an Odegaard, but when he has the ball and when he picks it up in the 18-yard box, he's creative enough to get a shot off. But you're putting him out on the wing. He's got to cut in. He's getting double teamed again, so it has to go back to Zinchenko. Zinchenko goes back to Gabriel. We start all over again, and it just, like I said, when we get to the 18-yard box, ideas just poof, they're gone out of everyone's head, and I don't understand. So, just for the fact that he couldn't adjust, but he did play well in spurts of the game. That's why I'm giving him a 4. So we'll leave the last rating to Nick. And he'll get the last word on Mikel Arteta.
So I'm not going to criticize him for, the lack of decisions, in the transfer market, who to bring back, who to leave. Oh, well, that's all water under the bridge at this point. But if I'm just talking about the game, you guys said it. I mean, for me, it was just a lack of, or almost an inability to make adjustments. He's really good at being stubborn. That's what Arteta's really good at. You're seeing these things happen throughout. You're seeing these switches and the adjustments that your Jedi Master is making, and you're saying, "Oh, I'm just going to stick with the same plan." Like, these kids are not capable of also changing on the fly. His selections, you have to call him out for that too, because the selections for this game are a direct reflection of what happened. If you're not rotating your squad or playing different squads or doing different things with different teams, and you're consistently playing the same 11, basically, it's going to catch up. And it caught up to it. Um, the real, I'm gonna say it's a 4. Um, I'm gonna say it's a 4 total for me. I think that whatever happens on Saturday, I think it's Saturday too, right? Saturday against Villa is really going to um, cast a spotlight on him as a manager. If he loses that game, based on whatever he does, I think he's going to start feeling a bit of pressure because, everyone's saying that, yeah, we still have a game in hand and whatnot. But, I mean, I don't know if there's been another must-win game like against a squad like this in a long time. It's like they almost have to get this one. So 4, hopefully things change, but I'm going to say they probably won't. So whatever.
Okay, so I'll just run down. I'll do a little bit of housekeeping here and run down the lowest rating Nick gave a player was Eddie Nketiah, sorry, with a 2. The highest he gave was a 7 for Martinelli, Jorginho, and Ramsdale. Edson, the lowest guy you gave was 4 to Xhaka. Highest was Jorginho. The lowest I gave was a 4 to Xhaka and Nketiah. The highest I gave was a 7, and that was to Jorginho. So the man of the match, based on our ratings, the man of the match is Jorginho, by a lot. So so by a lot. So Jorginho's the man of the match of that debacle on Wednesday night. Hopefully, like Nick said, we play Villa on Saturday. It's the early game, so 7:30 a.m. here, noon, I guess, in the UK time. So hopefully we'll bounce back. I don't want to say it's a must-win, but it's a must-win game. They have to win that game. So any parting shots, guys, before we take off?
Can we still call back Balogun? I mean, what are
We can't do that.
Yeah, all right.
You ask every game. We can't do it. Can't do it. Nick?
I've been an Eddie supporter, but like I said it even before we got to the break, before we even got to the transfer window. I was saying it from World Cup even. Call back Balogun. First thing, New Year's Day.
You need a striker, that's for sure. And if you're waiting for Jesus to come back and start firing, you're probably 4 or 5 weeks away from that. So
imagine how many times we would have turned to Balogun by now. Imagine how many minutes he actually would have gotten. You know what I mean? At the very least,
you are just thinking
at the very least 20 to 30 minutes in every game that Eddie would have started. Even if he started every game, plus he would have gotten a start in a cup game.
You are like, again, yes, he's in great form. I mean, certainly he'd be an interesting person to put there. But I mean, let's face it, even if he was with the squad right now, who do you think starting that game? It would have still been
Eddie can start, but after 45, if we had another striker after 45 minutes, I would have taken him off.
That's right. At the very least, I would have gotten a half an hour out of Balogun in, like I said, in almost all of these games. You know what I mean? 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
You can miss chances against Everton because you know you're going to get chances to score again. You're probably going to get 2 or 3 chances the whole game as a team against a team like City. Yeah. And you blow, Nick says 3, I say 2. 2 of them went blank? No. Sorry, buddy. 45 minutes you would have got. I'm sorry. My job's on the line too, eh?
So, you don't get 3 chances. You're exactly right. You don't get 3 chances against City. He got 3 legitimate chances against City.
You don't get 3 chances against teams like that. You gotta bury them, man. That's why I sent you that message when Harry Kane's first shot of the game, boom, back in the net. Of course, he might only get 1 chance. He buried it. They might win 1-0. There you go. That's what strikers do.
Basically, got 1, 2 chances that entire game.
Probably took 2 shots all game, and
all game.
Maybe he took 1. Actually, maybe he took 1 and it went in. That's a striker. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I know he's got a brace against United, but that's 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, what have you done for me lately? Striking.
It's not, it is what have you done for me lately, but it's warranted because you have to score.
No, I listen. I understand. I'm watching the same games that you are.
Okay.
Like I said, it would have been Balogun starting for me yesterday after all this, probably by this point.
Put it on target. Just put it on target, and I might be happy. But he's not even putting it.
Oh, he puts it on any side, an inch this way, an inch that way. We're up 1-0, but or 1-1, whatever.
Kicks. He's giving away goal kicks. That's what he's doing.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what he's gonna do. Maybe we see something different on Saturday. Maybe he tries something else. Maybe Martinelli up the middle.
Are starting to hurt. Rowe, please come back. Partey, please be okay, man. Like like these injuries are really starting to catch up, man. You know, and
that's right.
You're right. Like they need some rest. In this Villa, they got to get it. To me, it's a must win.
It is a must win. So we'll do a reaction show Saturday after the game. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an early one. We'll do a reaction show after that. But guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully it's better Saturday. Take care.